When the Vikings acquired Sam Darnold, I'm starting from the beginning here because we have to. When the Vikings acquired Sam Darnold, I was told, Kevin O'Connell told him, we are going to take a look at the rookie class for quarterbacks and give you a heads up. They were sitting there at 11th because, after Cousins had his Achilles explode in Lambeau Field, they still won some games. If you remember the Josh Dobbs Pastronaut.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sort of ground control to Major Tom a couple times,
True.
And, but they kind of let him know. And they told him, this is essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, your Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff type opportunity. Mayfield is more an appropriate analogy. 2 reasons. 1, same draft class. He was number 1 Baker, and Darnold was number 3 overall. And also, Goff went just from one team to another, was traded away. But he was traded away with first-round draft choices going with him. No, it's the other way around. You get first-round draft choices back when you trade a former first overall pick guy away. But Baker had been to other spots, multiple spots. He had a quick sabbatical with the Rams and then wound up with Tampa and made the most of his opportunity and got paid. And is now the guy in Tampa for a team that can win in the playoffs. And so basically that's what I said. This is going to be your team, Sam. You make the most of it. They draft J.J. McCarthy, and the two of them had a competition for a while that became moot when J.J. blew his knee out. But it was going to be Sam the start. It was going to be him the start. And Kevin O'Connell did that, man. He told him, use us, essentially. Use us. Well, he's used him all right. And they can certainly use him. What a season it has unfolded. A 5-0 start that, to be very honest, the rest of this football loving world was just looking at the clock and saying, when is it striking midnight for this pumpkin? And sure enough, that 5-0 start, they lose 2 games in 5 days. They lose a Sunday date at home against the Lions in which they led but got beat late and then turned around and flew out short week here to Los Angeles, and just their luck, that's when Puka comes back, and that's when Cooper Kupp is back from injury, and that's when the Rams are completely reconstituted. They lose that one, and there were some Vikings fans thinking, uh-oh, that trapdoor's about to open up. And instead, they just put together a better win streak. They just put together a 9-game win streak. 9 in a row. Longest win streak for Minnesota since 1975. Even that 15-1 team that had a trapdoor open up on them in 1998. They didn't win 9 in a row. It's the longest active win streak in the NFL, and it keeps getting better every week, and against opponents that they're supposed to turn back into the pumpkin against.
Man, look at all that green.
I mean,
That's money.
Honestly, the pumpkin was supposed to show up in Seattle. I understand that the Seahawks aren't the same up there in the Pacific Northwest this year, but Week 16, they need to win this game. Seattle, they have the division title hopes, and Sam Darnold goes up there and punks him. Atlanta coming in. I mean, that's the Kirk Cousins return game, right? That was supposed to be like, instead he throws 5 touchdowns. And then Green Bay coming in, wanting to prove to everybody, sure, you beat us before and we lost to the Lions. We get swept by them. And Philly beats us, but that nonsense is about to end. We're going to come in your house with Josh Jacobs, and we're going to hit you in the mouth. And instead, Josh Jacobs tries to hit him in the mouth, and they pop one loose because their defense is opportunistic and vicious. And Justin Jefferson is on the side of a milk carton for the first quarter and a half. And then he winds up with 92 yards receiving. Darnold didn't give up on him. He kept targeting him. 11 times they targeted him, and they finally popped some loose, and Kevin O'Connell gets him some easy throws, easy plays. Unbelievable. And Darnold, 33 of 43. He threw an interception, sure, but 3 touchdowns. Addison here, Naylor there. And interestingly enough, because it did help the Rams in their strength of victory clinching, the guy who helped seal the game for the Vikings and helped the Rams, Cam Akers, can't make it up. And the defense took care of Jordan Love, 198 yards passing. They were all over him. He couldn't do a damn thing. Jaden Reed, their leading receiver, gone. Took him out. Jeez. The Vikings can win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
These are facts. Mm-hmm. Playing like this, Sam Darnold can be on a magic carpet ride. Forget about turning back into a pumpkin. He's Aladdin. That's the Disney reference right now. Unreal. And then you want to talk about how the team believes in him. This is pretty cool, guys. This is amazing. Darnold, I guess, was doing his post-game chit-chat. And you see this all the time. Quarterback is like last in the locker room because he's out there on the field doing some media obligations, what have you. You know, some teams wait for the quarterback to come back in. Certainly if the quarterback wants to give out a game ball, other teams let a 17-year-old give out the game ball to somebody else. But that's another day for another thing. But Darnold comes walking in, and the welcome he gets, go for it, roll it. Look at this. On the shoulders. And I'm seeing this, and I'm thinking to myself, Sam Darnold, when he gets bounced from the Jets and he's got his 3 wins with Carolina, and then he gets hurt, and then that falls to crap, and then he winds up with San Francisco on a Christmas night getting the call against a marauding Ravens team that had picked off and apart Brock Purdy, and they hand him a mop. And he's got to be sitting there going, when is this going to turn for me, right? Mm-hmm. When am I going to get a shot to make the most of something? And the Vikings come calling, and they choose a kid who's a national champion quarterback out of Michigan, who's also really young, like just turning 21. He's got to be sitting there thinking, really, I got to deal with the 21-year-old kid too? Look at him now. Look at that shot right up on the screen where he is just dancing, and he is on the shoulders of his teammates who are honoring him like he is friggin' Maximus in the middle of the Coliseum. It is unbelievable.
It's like the end of a sports movie.
It is that. And but the end of the sports movie can wind up in New Orleans, and that's a fact, guys. That's a fact. These are facts. They can go and lose in Detroit for the final game of the regular season and have to go on the road and show up in Tampa. You want to talk about wild? The aforementioned Baker Mayfield, who Kevin O'Connell apparently did invoke his name. That's possible. That's the quarterback Darnold has to face in the wild card round, or they got the week off because they go into Detroit and keep it going and win their 10th in a row. It is 100% possible. They have more defensive players, healthier and playing better than the Lions, with all due respect.
Everybody does.
Right? And, the Lions are not to be trifled with.
Nah, but they're hurt.
Dude, but they're using that as a chip on their shoulder. All that said, Darnold, he dove into the Will Ferrell world in the answer to the question about how did he feel with his teammates honoring him like that.
Yeah, a lot of water bottles, a lot of water. It was just mayhem. I think I blacked out, when Aaron Jones grabbed me and lifted me up. I didn't know what to do with my hands in that situation, so Ricky Bobby style. So it was, it was an interesting moment, but a fun moment, man, to be embraced by your teammates like that. And, it's just it's always fun to be able to have that moment with my teammates.
Yeah, when you watch it back and you can't see his hands, he does not know what to do with his hands.
He had his eyes were wide. He literally was shocked that they picked him up.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Because he's their guy.
Yeah.
He is their guy. And to J.J. McCarthy's testament, because I follow him on all his social media because, he had me at hello.
That's your son.
He has been posting, congrats to Sam. He is all in. He is all in, and that's for another day. And we already had that conversation here. We had it on game day morning yesterday, too. It is a premature chat because there is still 2024 in the oven for this team. What a win.
Vikings fans are already looking forward. My uncle's one, and he told me he'd love to keep. He's like, it's a no-brainer. We got to keep him around at least.
Have to.
For 2 years. Just to let JJ kind of bake a little in
Or you just trade him. You got your guy. You found your franchise quarterback. You thought it was coming in the draft.
What, you saying trade JJ?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying.
What?
That's not. I mean, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. That may be. But here's the thing: is they don't have to make that decision yet, and they can actually see the way that everything plays out. But remarkable, simply remarkable. What a story! One of my favorite stories of the year, of the past several years. Kevin O'Connell, man. He knows how to keep people's buttons pushed and excited. And you could see at the end of that video, he's just stepping back and watching it all play out. And he's got to sit there and go, what, another Rick Dalton gif, right?
Gonna say.
Yeah, that's kind of him doing the Rick. He's kind of doing that's right. It kind of looks like it. He's pointing. Here it is. Hey, there it is.
Hey, guy.
There it is. Well done, brother. That guy can coach his ass off. I told you guys that coming back from London. I'm like, that guy has got his finger on the pulse. They love him. He loves them. And he knows what he is doing. And he could. There was one point you could see he was muttering to himself because I think he kind of messed up the timeouts at the end of the first half. Even Brady was saying, when I got 3 timeouts left after the 2-minute warning, I like to use one in between the first minute. And I usually like to use one between 30 seconds and 1 minute and the last one between 30 seconds and the end of the half. Spoken like a true Belichick guy, just being able to break it all down and boil it down so simply. He was kind of muttering himself like he kind of knew he screwed up the situation, but doesn't. I mean, Sam Darnold is playing lights out. He is making throws. Every receiver's got to have their head on a swivel because they are open and he is coming to them. Aaron Jones didn't even play the last quarter and a half because they had some sort of thigh contusion. They're like, let's leave him out. All good. That defense, Flores. I salute the Minnesota Vikings right now. They got a big one coming up next week, but that one in particular is just incredible. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.